How good is a Wednesday night? Joe Hildebrand, who's on every show at Sky at the moment, but thankfully he's always here on a Wednesday night. The wonderful Bronwyn Bishop. God love you. Oh, you say that to all the hosts. Lovely to see you as well, Bronwyn. Everyone loves seeing you here on a Wednesday. So, we're actually not going to talk about The Voice for a second. I want to talk about cost of living, okay? Again, these are not surprise numbers. Everyone's living it. But the media sort of acts with a certain sense of surprise. What do you mean it's not going down? Because Grim Jim keeps telling us it's going down. Petrol's up 20%. 20% on where it was 12 months ago. Yes, some global factors. The government's got $20 billion extra and tomorrow could cut the fuel excise by 25 cents. But they won't. Why?
Well, if they did, of course, it would lower the cost of petrol in the basket, which means the inflation figure would be less.
Correct.
Which meant we mightn't have to have an increase in our interest rate next week.
It's almost like I've thought this one through.
Absolutely. I mean, seriously. This government has got an inflation problem because its policies have fed it. Increasing wages, letting petrol prices go through the roof. The fact that its industrial relations laws are pushing it along. Everything it does is over expenditure. It is just, it says we're fighting inflation, but all its policies feed it. And what does Grim Jim do? He gives us a salad sandwich.
Yeah.
There's nothing. The lips flap, but there's no content. Well, nothing comes out.
But also, you're far be it from me to cheer in the side, but I'll give you some free advice here, Joe, to maybe text back to a couple of people. Their response is always to stand up and say, well, we did this for childcare and we did this for people on Job Seeker and we did this for... OK, great, OK. But let's be honest, the change of JobKeeper is $56 a fortnight. Is that more than was there before? Sure. Is that enough to change anyone's world? No, right? It's just one of those big numbers that all the sort of boffins tell you is a big and important thing to do. But the vast majority of Australians don't receive welfare. The vast majority don't. So when they hear the government's doing its bit, but they're saying petrol's up 20 and insurance is up more than the average, you've seen all the lists, that's where there's this huge disconnect. And good luck trying to tell people that the war in Israel and Gaza is the reason why inflation's going up.
Yeah, look, it's I mean, I suppose explaining why it's happening isn't really the point, isn't it? It's what you do about it and how... If
you can stand in front of a fire and tell us why it's burning.
That's right, it doesn't put the fire out. So I totally take that point. I think the really hard truth is, and again, this is something that both sides of politics keep running into, you know, people say, oh, the government's got to cut spending, but there's not enough in the budget for middle income earners, you know, and we've heard that refrain said in the same breath by the same people criticising the same budget.
I've hated that for 20 years. The federal budget has gone from a national economic document to what's in it for me.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
I hate that.
And so I guess the answer to your question in terms of, you know, why, you know, job seekers are getting stuff, you know, childcare is getting stuff, but, you know, average middle income earners aren't getting that much.
Instead, they got 1,500 taken off them.
Yeah, but they are getting the stage 3 tax cuts are still going ahead next year. And again, you want to make sure in something like this, it's, you know, the meat kind of has to go through the grinder. It's a horrible sort of thing to sort of have to even contemplate. My own household is going backwards. We're going backwards. Our mortgage is shot up.
And you've got a great job. This is the other thing too,
I've got a great job. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so imagine you're somebody who hates their gig, is earning basically bugger all compared to where they were. And that's what I think for me, Bronwyn, again, is that I don't want any more emoting about politicians that they sort of roughly understand. They got their biggest pay rise in 10 years this year, the political class. The bureaucracy's got its biggest pay rise in 10 years. All of those people, dare I say the yes camp, is keeping amongst itself, and it's all very happy. And I even noticed there's stories today about people buying Ferraris is going through the roof. But the people who are getting around in a clapped out Camry are being screwed, and they're being told, oh, it's all okay, don't worry.
Well, of course, the problem is that when they came in on a basis that they were going to push wages up. And immediately they set out on that. They pushed up in the aged care sector. They pushed it up immediately and then had to postpone it a bit because the inflationary effect was so bad.
Well, and again, I don't fundamentally disagree with a wage rise for the minimum, but not the 20% paid for by the federal budget to aged care.
Here's the problem. Those people who got those wages increases can now buy less with the money they get.
Correct.
In other words, it's counterproductive.